Chapter 51. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A shiny bald head appeared on the screen, with a white cloak fluttering in the wind, looking blankly ahead. Do you think he is silly and a little dull? Is this the savior? Is there something wrong with this picture? Naruto World, Turtle Immortal looked at this bald man, cold sweat appeared on his head unconsciously, and his eyes became extremely serious. This guy is so strong. Wukong on the side was trembling all over, extremely excited. This feeling definitely made him an extremely powerful being. King Frisia, the space human shield, looked at the bald head with disdain and was very unhappy. It's unforgivable that he is equal to me. Death World, Soul Society, the bald captain's eyes widened, and the cells in his body began to become active. The Zanpakuto Ryuran Wakahui beside him began to stir. What a strong bald head, far above him. Fairy tale, within the scales of the snake princess. Jula, look, there is someone with the exact same hairstyle as you. Someone joked, but at this moment, Jula seemed to have taken a stabilizing pill. His face was full of horror, and the clothes on his back were soaked with fear. Shut up, he is not someone we can joke about casually, Jula roared ferociously. This bald head is so powerful that it's like a god. Pirate World, one of the 5 old stars was bald and held the first generation ghost tightly, not daring to express his anger, trembling with fear. The powerful bald people in many worlds can feel the power contained in that body. It's like a god walking on earth. And those who are powerful also feel this power. Except for the world of One Punch Man, it is a setting after all, One Punch Man world. Genos-kun, Mr. Saitama is on the list. King put down the controller and looked at the light curtain in the sky with an expression on his face. In fact, he was already excited in his heart. He is indeed the Saitama clan. Of course, he is my teacher. Genos looked proud. Although he didn't learn any powerful secrets here, he lived a very happy life. Ordinary people who knew Saitama looked at this scene in shock. This bald man is the savior. Are you kidding me? That cheating Class B is so strong. The inventory must have been wrong. How could that bald man do it? Many people don't believe that this bald man can be the savior. After all, if he is the savior, will they be retaliated for insulting him before? Those with ulterior motives sneered, don't worry, the savior is dead. He will probably die too, so we don't have to worry. But why do you call him the bald demon king? Do not know. Screen continues. The clear blue sky, the chirping of birds, and the busy figures of people walking through the streets create a peaceful scene. At this time, there was a sudden explosion, people panicked, and people began to flee in all directions. The next second, a heat wave swept across. In the blink of an eye, those busy people disappeared instantly and turned into dust. A shadow slowly appeared in the center of the explosion. The whole body is purple, with 2 tentacles on its head, and its muscles are swollen, which contains great power. Piccolo, why do you appear up there? Oh, no, you are green. Ha ha ha, you are so green. Wukong laughed heartily, causing Piccolo's veins to bulge, and he wanted to beat him. When the top brass of the Hero Association learned of its appearance, they immediately sent the heroes into action. At this time, a hero rushed to the scene. It was the 31st ranked A-level hero, but he only appeared for 3 seconds and was instantly killed by the vaccine man. Among them, even Qin Yen, who is not inferior to S-class heroes, suffered the same fate. For S-class heroes, Atomic Samurai, Lord Vest, Pig God, and Metal Bat, went to defeat the vaccine man. The top brass of the Hero Association still felt that the situation was not good. The danger level of this vaccine man is probably dragon level. Panic spreads throughout the Heroes Association. At this time, the vaccine people successfully entered the second stage. Flying to the sky, 5 energy balls gathered around him, flew out instantly, and landed in the sky above City A. Boom! A violent explosion swept through the entire City A, and it was about to be on the verge of destruction. At this time, in a dark room, the bald man watched the live broadcast on the TV. After a while, the signal was interrupted. The bald man stood up slowly and murmured, Let's go. Wearing a white cape and yellow tights, he looked gloomy and looked like a strong man. Justice is enforced. In City A, which was destroyed at this time, a little girl sat paralyzed on the ground in the ruins, crying and shouting, woo woo woo, Oda-san, Oka-san. At this time, the vaccine man was slowly coming from behind her. Hum hum, veins popped up in the vaccine man's right arm, and his claws stretched out towards the little girl. If caught by it, the girl would probably turn into a puddle. At this critical moment, an afterimage passed by and saved the little girl aside. Vaccines are different for people. Where did the girl go? She looked to one side and asked with a ruffian look on her face, Who are you? The bald man smiled contemptuously, stood up, and crossed his arms. The shiny bald head has round eyes, and the pupils are narrow to a point. My whole style has changed. A hero of mine. The vaccine man was obviously dissatisfied with this answer. With bloodshot eyes, he asked unhappily, What? What a random setting. I was born from human beings' continuous pollution of the environment, a vaccine man. The earth is a complete life, and you humans are the pathogenic bacteria that erode life on the earth. The vaccine man continues to grow in size and becomes more ferocious, and the power in his body is exploding rapidly. In order to eliminate human beings and the harmful civilization you created. I was born here through the will of the earth. You actually said you were interested. Interest. Just because this apostle is so cruel to the earth. Human beings indeed. Saitama raised his right fist expressionlessly and waved it over. Poof. Vaccine people instantly turn into pieces of meat, and they can no longer die. The monster who was originally defined as a dragon-level monster is just gone. Saitama looked at the smoking fist with cold sweat on his face. His expression gradually turned ferocious. He knelt on the ground and said tremblingly, I again, got it done with one punch, damn it. The bald head's unwilling roar breaks through the sky. 3-day summer promotion, top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 13th to August 15th. Chapter 52. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The World of One Punch Man. The senior officials in the Hero Association looked at this scene stupidly, after a while. This weirdo, no. Did King defeat him? How could it be him? Such a terrifying enemy only used one punch. Whoever raided him in the first place, get over here right now. The people at the top are completely panicked. Such a terrifying man is only a B-class now, and there are many people insulting him on the internet. If this angers him, only an S-class first blaster can stop him. Damn it, is this braised egg so strong? Sorry, I apologize for my ignorance. Delete the comment quickly. Brothers, I ran away overnight. If anyone calls him the bald-caped man again, I will fight with him. From now on he will be my biological father. In the picture, Saitama came to a supermarket. His shiny bald head made everyone laugh. For a 2 yuan, Saitama took out his wallet to check out and rummaged for change. At this time, the ground shook violently. People in the supermarket panicked and fled the place quickly. Saitama didn't pay much attention to what was happening around him. I have 82 yuan here. Saitama looked up and saw that there was no one around, and then the sky became dark, waiting for Saitama to turn around again. The bustling street ahead turned into ruins, with countless casualties. The screen gradually lifted into the sky, and a huge footprint suddenly appeared. A giant hundreds of meters tall walks in D-City, killing countless humans with every step he takes. What a walking disaster. There was a man standing on the giant's shoulders. He looked at everything excitedly and shouted, "Oh Dowdu. Excellent. Yes. Beyond imagination. I didn't expect that just a bottle of chemical reagent could make people expand to such an extent. It's unimaginable." The giant brother raised his hand to form a hurricane, and the buildings within hundreds of meters were instantly reduced to rubble. The destructive power is terrifying. Well done. Oh Dowdu. Tens of thousands of people died all at once. Yoxi, go to the next city. Scientists look crazy. I am the strongest man. Brother Giant thought so. While they were wreaking havoc, a bald man stood on the other shoulder of the giant brother. He asked calmly, how about giving thanks after becoming the strongest? Put on your underwear. The giant brother was completely confused at this time, and even accidentally killed his brother and fell into madness. Scarlet eyes stared at Saitama's dumb face, furious, and roared, it's all because of you, it's you who killed my brother. The giant brother held Saitama tightly and blasted to the ground with all his strength. Boom. Even though he was sunk deep into the ground, Saitama still looked the same. The giant brother exerted his strength with his legs, jumped hundreds of meters, kicked Yu in the face violently, and his fist fell to the ground like a storm, the strongest. This is the power of our brothers. The ground was forcibly dug into a deep pit of hundreds of meters by the giant brother. The giant brother was panting heavily from exhaustion. He looked at his brother who had been beaten to a pulp by him and murmured, I am the strongest. So what? That's so empty. At this time, a ray of light flew out from the ground, with an expressionless face. Yes, Saitama punched the giant brother in the face and said helplessly, overwhelming force, it's really boring. The huge body of the giant brother fell to the ground, and below was City B. City B is destroyed. Hero Association. Mr. Saitama also solved this matter. The senior staff were completely numb. They originally thought it was King, but they really didn't expect that it was the bald-caped man who solved it. Hurry up and prepare a generous gift and go to Mr. Saitama's house. Let's go apologize to Mr. Saitama. For these two terrifying enemies, Saitama only used one punch, and obviously he did not use all his strength. Fortunately, such terrifying people did not have any disgust towards them. Otherwise, don't dare to think. In the picture, Saitama accepts Genos as his disciple. Until my mother-in-law predicted that the end of mankind is coming. Most of the S-class heroes from the Hero Association are present, including Saitama, who is still a B-class hero. While they were discussing when the enemy would come back, there was a violent shaking around them, because the Hero Association is made of special materials. It was not damaged. At this time, a huge spaceship appeared outside. 3-day summer promotion, top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 13th to August 15th. Chapter 53. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brothers, I think I know why he is called the bald devil. Brother, why are you kneeling down? Legs are weak. Why are your legs weak? If you are afraid, you will naturally kneel down. Why is your face one white and one red? Radiant. Saitama came to the inside of the spacecraft alone. Finally, he came to the depths of the spacecraft. In front of the throne, there is a person sitting on the throne, the overlord of the universe, Boros. It has long purple-pink hair like starlight and is a one-eyed creature wearing armor, looking down at Saitama. In the eyes of Boros, Saitama exuded an extremely terrifying aura and murmured, is it a representative of the planet? Can feel the unfathomable power, this is the realization among the strong. Boros stood up slowly and said condescendingly, Sparasi. Before the battle, declare your name first. I am the leader of the Dark Thieves group Dark Matter. Overlord of the universe, Boros. Countless people listened to Boros's words in shock, the overlord of the entire universe. What a joke, until now, those saviors have remained within the scope of one world. How come this one has been directly upgraded to the entire universe? I'm afraid that the so-called god of war before can't be the opponent of this Boros. Are you so afraid of people? More people are worried about Saitama. This opponent may be stronger than all previous opponents. Luffy, your chin is so long, close it quickly. Usopp, stop kneeling. Chopper, never mind, the doctor fainted. Screen continues. Saitama also responded with a serious face, that I am the hero of interest, no. Now a pro-hero. Saitama. Boros showed an extremely excited expression and grinned, Saitama. Boros walked down the steps, leaned toward Saitama, and said, "Thought there was a prophecy. I fought in space back then, but I was too strong. In the end, no one dared to challenge me. I suffered from boredom." At this time, the fortune teller once said that on a distant planet, there is someone who can fight with me and satisfy me. 20 years have passed. The subordinates thought it was just an excuse to avoid war. But I now firmly believe that the prediction is correct. Come on, give my life some excitement. This is my purpose. Boros' eyes showed great excitement. He believed that he would have a great time in this battle. Sarah, come on. Saitama and I had a great fight. Next second. Boom. Boros' body flew backwards in an instant, crashing into several pillars in succession, and his body was embedded in the wall. You idiot. Just because you want excitement, you would invade other planets. Not even OL would think so. Saitama looked at Boros speechlessly, with the familiar white smoke coming out of his fist. Boros walked out of the wall. The armor on his body was constantly falling off, and there was no injury on his body at all. As expected of the Overlord of the Universe, he couldn't be solved with just one punch. Boros said calmly, "This armor was meant to seal my powerful power, but now it was broken by you." Saitama, on the other hand, frowned, and even his painting style became extremely funny. The row of dotted lines on the left didn't look like a strong man at all. Maybe this is the style of the boss. Yeah, the suppressed power in Boros's body gradually burst out, his purple skin gradually became darker, his body was constantly expanding, and the sharp bones of his spine were protruding everywhere. This is definitely not a herniated disc. Boom! A strong energy storm swept through the entire spacecraft, and purple lightning flashed wantonly on the surface of Boros' skin. A force that makes all sentient beings unable to resist is gradually awakening. This battle has attracted much attention. The two figures disappeared from the screen instantly. If it weren't for the sound of a blow in the video, they would have thought the video was paused. They turned into two streams of light and shuttled inside the spacecraft. The bodies collided continuously, sending out waves that shattered the space. Ordinary people can't see their figures clearly at all. They can only see a flash of light to confirm that they are fighting. The inside of the tough spaceship is being destroyed continuously. Even in the war in outer space, the spacecraft has never suffered such heavy damage. But now it's just two creatures fighting, and it produces such a terrifying scene. This may be a true battle of gods. Boom! Saitama never fought back, always in a defensive state, and in this state, Saitama raised his innocent fist. Poof! The two separated briefly, but one of Pineapple's hands was broken on the ground. To be able to fight this far with me who liberated the power. Saitama turned around and looked at Boros expressionlessly, raised his fist that was slightly smoking, and said flatly, "You are very strong." In reality, Boros, who is searching for the earth, looks extremely excited. Saitama, wait for me. It's so heartwarming. In the picture, Boros is trying his best to attack Saitama, and the inside of the spacecraft is being destroyed continuously. Boros punched Saitama, sending him flying hundreds of meters, and finally fell into the wall. He followed closely behind, his body radiating purple light, and he kicked Saitama's chest with his feet together. In an instant, there was a distant roar and explosion all around. The two people's attacks that exceeded the speed of light knocked down the spacecraft. From the bottom of the spacecraft, the body landed on the spaceship. Saitama's body was covered with dust, and Boros became more and more excited. You are really awesome. This was the first time I met an evenly matched opponent. Saitama still looks so calm and outrageous. I want to release the greatest energy in my body now. Boros's body erupted with soaring cyan energy, and a huge energy ball condensed on his chest and flew toward Saitama. Boom! Explosive flames filled the sky, covering thousands of meters, engulfing Saitama's figure. However, Saitama slowly walked out of the explosion. In addition to some damage to his clothes, there were only a few scratches on his body. Behind you. Poros appeared confidently behind Saitama and punched him in the face. The strong force formed a storm, and everything around was blown away. But Saitama didn't even move a step, only half of his body was tilted. It seems that this punch worked. The battle between us seems to have been decided. The home planet where I live has a harsh environment. In that environment, our regeneration and self-healing abilities are among the best, and I am the best among them. The harm you suffered. Before Poros finished speaking, Saitama looked at him coldly and said coldly, long-winded, fighting, no more fighting. Poros was stunned for a moment, looking at him blankly, a little lost. This man was actually disappointed in him. So, he must treat this man with all his strength. Then, energy beyond the past erupted in the body. The energy formed a hemisphere, with endless black lightning covering it, and he shouted, "Not yet. Facing this man Saitama, I will defeat him no matter what I do." Meteorite explodes. Purple-black lightning cracks covered Boros's body, and there was a high-spirited fighting spirit in his pupils. In an instant, all the Boros energy exploded, and the energy poured out tore apart the surface of the spacecraft, forming ruins in an instant. Saitama's always calm face showed a hint of joy, and it was only now that Boros aroused his interest. Next moment, Poros turned into ruins at his feet, and his figure disappeared instantly, and he came to Saitama. Boom! Saitama was punched thousands of meters away. Boros' speed beyond the limit made Saitama seemingly unable to fight back. Boom! Boom! Even the space was torn into dust under this energy. At this time, Boros no longer cared about the life and death of his subordinates. He just wants to fight the man in front of him until the end. Boom! Saitama flew high into the air, and Boros concentrated his energy on his knees to press against Saitama's abdomen. The world became quiet at this moment, the screen rotated, and Saitama hit the moon hard. After a while. Boom! Everyone in the world was completely stunned when they saw this scene. Kick someone to the moon. What a joke! It takes a long time for a spacecraft to reach the moon. What's your kick? Countless people were horrified, and many powerful people in the world doubted their lives. Is this what I am? Those demon kings, brave men, and magicians who want to rule the world have completely lost their dreams. How will Saitama return to Earth? Is it coming to an end? In the picture, Saitama came to his senses and found that he couldn't breathe. He saw that he was on the moon and hurriedly pinched his nose, taking a starting stance. Saitama doesn't want to return to Earth like this, does he? No way. Boom! Saitama exerted force with his legs, and the surface of the moon suddenly sunk an area. He turned into a stream of light and flew towards the Earth at extremely fast speed. This speed was actually faster than Boros' full blow. A moment later, Saitama fell from the sky, and the spacecraft tilted completely. Saitama walked out of the smoke and dust, with a happy look on his face. Ah, came back. Poros looked at Saitama, who came back with a determined look. I will give everything for this man. Boros rushed toward Saitama without hesitation. At this moment, he seemed not to be the overlord of the universe, but rather like a brave man who defeated the Demon King. Big brother who drives the spaceship, come on. Boros' lightspeed fist fell on Saitama, but Saitama punched Boros in the body. The ordinary punch caused huge damage to Boros, his eyeballs were bloodshot, and his body flew hundreds of meters upside down. He was extremely embarrassed. This is it, Saitama, only then is it worth defeating you. But Chiyu suddenly appeared in front of him and said calmly, Continuous normal punches, raindrops of ordinary fists covered Boros. The next moment, Boros turned into a pool of flesh and blood floated in the air. Well, Poros, who had only one eyeball left, couldn't believe it, but he quickly recovered and roared, I'll knock you down. Release all your energy. I will destroy you even from the face of the earth. Endless energy poured into Boros's chest, forming an energy field of tens of meters around him, and blue light waves spurted out in an instant, pointing directly at Saitama. Collapse star roaring cannon. Saitama looked at Boros's final blow with a serious look on his face. Then, I will also use my trump card. Must kill, serious series, that a serious punch. The blue energy wave collided with the pressure of the fist, followed by a shocking sound. Boom! The energy wave was split into two and shot straight into the sky. At this moment, the world was quiet, and the world seemed to have pressed the pause button. The picture fades away and comes to the surface of the earth. A huge gap appeared in the clouds behind Boros, and the atmosphere was split into two. It's like giving the earth a middle part. Poros was now in his old age, with a body as shriveled as a mummy, and with long pink cherry blossom hair scattered around. He said weakly, "That did I lose?" At this time, the BGM became sentimental, as if mourning this strong man. Saitama turned around and looked at him. Are you still conscious? You are indeed very powerful. Same as prophecy. It's an equal fight.
Yes. Hee. Lie. You obviously still have some energy left. I have no power to fight back. This can't even be called a battle. Prophecy is so unreliable. Saitama, you are too strong. The spacecraft gradually shattered and fell into the city. Saitama was getting farther and farther away, staring blankly at the sky, and said helplessly, "Invincible, so lonely." The scene stopped suddenly. P.S. Brothers, I originally planned to write a few more chapters, but after thinking about it, I put them together, more than 4,000 words. Unlike other big guys, I am a newbie who will make your blood boil. I enjoy the process, but maybe the pace is a bit slow. When I reviewed the anime, I forgot to read the code. I will try to be faster in the future. An update will be released tomorrow. I hope everyone will support it. Please, can children be so miserable? Woo woo woo. I offer the highest respect to my brothers and sisters. 3 days of summer promotion, top up 100 and get 500 VIP points. Grab a deposit now. Activity time, August 13th to August 15th. Chapter 55. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the picture, there is a beautiful woman standing in front of a young man. The woman keeps telling something, and the young man approaches her with a golden dagger in his hand. Oh my God, it's a young boy again, but what is he going to do to this beautiful woman? Maybe this woman is the savior. Do your 3 views follow your 5 senses? That's not the case. I hope this savior can have a good destination. This time he shouldn't be as invincible as Saitama. After all, only Baldhead has appeared alone so far. Shape Moon World, inside Fuyuki Church, Gilgamesh showed a very happy smile, as if this savior was him. Ha 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 ha, didn't you expect that such fairy tales are also recorded? Then let people all over the world see my glorious Uruk. World, please enjoy my perfect heroic appearance and worship me. Ha 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 ha, Fujiwara Ritsuka, I wonder what your expression is now. And that miscellaneous cultivator, my eyes can see through all the truth about that guy. At this time, Kotomine Kirii was hiding behind and did not dare to speak. This king is crazy. He feels that something is not right in his head. Also, who is the miscellaneous cultivator that the king mentioned? We don't know, so we don't dare to ask. He can be a salty fish. He still silently stays by the side of this ancient king of emotions. Just be a good student. After all, the current war requires existence like him. Chaldea. Isn't this Fujiwara Ritsuka? He is actually on this list of saviors. Many staff in Chaldea looked at the light curtain above their heads in shock. Fujiwara Ritsuka was on it, which means he will save the world. Thinking of this, they jumped up excitedly. Romani Aki man looked at the much mature Fujiwara Ritsuka with a strange expression, but he seemed to feel someone's ridicule and couldn't help but sneeze. At this time, Fujiwara Ritsuka, who had just returned from the third singularity, looked at this scene, was dumbfounded. Did they succeed? Senior, have we succeeded? Mash said excitedly, shaking Fujiwara Ritsuka's arm. I don't know, let's go find a doctor first. Fujiwara Ritsuka shook his head. A world is salvation, and he doesn't know until the end, whether the restoration of human psychology has been completed. Nothing is known. Okay, senior. The cute Mashu nodded and followed the senior. Screen continues. The year 2015 in the Gregorian calendar is the last era when magic Shang was established.
Human Resources Survival Guarantee Agency Chaldea. Responsible for observing this, a magician alone cannot see the whole picture, and science alone cannot measure the entire world, that a secret service established to prevent human extinction. The future realm that Chaldea continued to observe suddenly disappeared without warning. It is clear that humanity will die in 2017, is proven. Chaldea postulates the cause of human destruction, and issue orders, investigate singularities, and even destroy them. This is the quest for the Holy Grail. Title designation: this is the beginning of everyone's Krypton gold. Damn it, are humans going to be gone again? Can we let humans go? We have been persecuting humans from the beginning to the end. We have never stopped. Fortunately it's not our world, otherwise we would be gone long ago. I am now in 2021 and feel very good. I hope there will be no war and I just want to be a happy salted fish. Shape Moon World. Fuyuki City. Saber, do you know about this? Shiro asked, looking at Saber. Although he couldn't understand the above, he still understood the Holy Grail. After all, this is what they are fighting for now. No, it's not clear. I am a heroic spirit now, and some of my memories have long been forgotten. Saber shook her head, indicating that she didn't know. She stood up silently and went to fill another bowl. The Tosaka family. Archer, do you know about this? Tosaka Rin looked at Red A, who looked like an old man. Red A glanced at her and said lightly. You'll know it just by looking at it, and don't scream after watching it. Why? No reason. At this time, Brother Go seemed to have something in his heart and felt something was not good. The red figure suddenly flashed in his mind. Zay, why did you think of him? It's bad luck. Screen continues. A beautiful girl with short pink hair, one side of her hair just covering her eyes, and glasses is looking attentively at the content on the tablet. At this time, a cute Merlin, Fufu, appeared in front of her, calling her, as if she wanted to tell her something. Woof woof woof. The girl followed Fufu to a boy who was lying on the ground. Fufu licked the boy's cheek. The young man slowly opened his eyes and stared blankly in front of him. When he saw the girl, he was startled and stepped back. The young man asked, Who are you? The girl was stunned and put one hand on her chest, seeming to be thinking about something, probably a nobody, some type of. What? The girl continued to speak the ignorant words of the boy. As for the name, I do have one, but I didn't find the right time to say it. The boy interrupted the girl and asked, Here it is? This is an observation station for mankind to continue longer and more tenaciously, Chaldea. The girl kept explaining everything in the institution to the boy. Investigate phenomena by going back in time, and what was destroyed. The above is a summary of Chaldea's spirit transfer. The young man was a little shocked that he actually participated in such an incredible plan. After a brief shock, he stretched out his hand with a smile on his face, looked at the girl, and said, By the way, sorry for not introducing myself just now, my name is Fujimaru Ritsuka. Although it's not an impressive self-introduction, I'm very sorry. The girl was stunned for a moment and stretched out her hand blankly, feeling a little at a loss. At this time, the boy took her hand. This caused a ripple in the girl's heart. My name is, Matthew Kirilite, so you are here, wearing a green top hat and squinting green eyes. He appeared in front of the two of them. Afterwards, Matthew also left here temporarily and went to the control room. Fujimaru Ritsuka also came to the assigned room, where he met Dr. Romani Akaiman. While the two were talking, something unexpected happened. Power cut. The doctor looked shocked and denied, How could there be a power outage in Chaldea? At this time, the sound of the radio came slowly. Fire broke out at the central power station and central control room. Fire. Fujimaru Ritsuka then thought of Mashu. She is now in the central control room. When they arrived at the control room, they were shocked by the tragedy in front of them. There were corpses everywhere, and the walls were broken apart by the flames and fell to the ground. It was like a purgatory. I'm going to the power generation room. Too dangerous. I can't let Chaldea's seed fire go out. The doctor ran to the power generation room without looking back. Fujimaru Ritsuka looked for Mashu everywhere and shouted, Matthew. Where are you? At this moment, the system began to prompt that the transfer of souls has entered the final stage. Coordinates, January 30th, 2004 AD. Island country, Fuyuki. Laplace performs teleportation guarantee, established. Add factor bits to unique points, secured. Anti-summoning system, installed. Please make the final adjustments, Master. Fujimaru Ritsuka was anxiously looking for Mashu, when she heard Fufu's voice. I saw Mashu being pinned down by a boulder. The young man knew that the girl was hopeless and that with his ability, he could not push the boulder away. The boy sat next to the girl and planned to be with her. The girl stretched out her hand tremblingly and said weakly, Senior, sorry, can you give me your hand? The boy wiped the dust on his hands, smiled and stretched out his hand to cover the girl's hand. Please. At this time, Laplace in the sky gave a prompt. Reset qualification number 48 as Master. Anti-summoning system, start up. Start, conversion of souls. 3, 2, 1. The whole project is completed. Start actual verification, first order. A white light flashed, and a gorgeous channel appeared on the screen. When Fujimaru Ritsuka opened his eyes again, everything around him had changed. Here it is. There were dilapidated ruins all around, and the buildings were as dark as if they had been roasted. There was fire in the distance, and then a red dot flew from the distance, getting closer, until it reaches the top of the boy's head. Thank you very much for the reward. Thanks for the reward. I am so invincible. I urge you to update. Chapter 56. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fuyuki City. Amiya Shiro seemed to have heard something in Fuyuki City just now. He turned his head and looked at Saber, whose mouth was bulging like a squirrel, and asked softly, Saber, did you hear just now that the machine said it was coming to Fuyuki City? Saber, who was eating, shook his head crazily, indicating that he didn't know, and kept chewing the food in front of him. He didn't care about everything that happened in the light screen, and just worked quietly and frantically. Inside the church, Kotomine Kirai looked at the ruins with a happy expression on his face. Ah, what a peaceful Fuyuki City. Ah, did Kiritsugu see this familiar scene? Gilgamesh looked displeased. When will I be able to achieve the splendid heroic appearance of this king? Let the heavens take a good look at what a king is. As the picture continues, the red dot pauses in the air, the red dot suddenly disappeared, and then dozens of red light pillars fell like raindrops. Fujimaru Ritsuka was confused. He had just woken up and had not yet recovered. How could he encounter such a situation? He was so frightened that he quickly raised his hands and blocked them in front of him. Boom. The imagined pain did not come. Fujimaru Ritsuka opened his eyes, not knowing what happened. When he opened his eyes, he saw a girl with short pink hair wearing purple armor and holding a huge shield, and this girl is Matthew, who was on the verge of death before. Why does she appear here? And this girl is too dressed up, Matthew. The girl looked back at her and said calmly, I'll talk about it later. Anyway, get down now. Dozens of attacks flew from a distance again, but they were all blocked by the girl's shield and did not hurt the boy behind her at all. Obviously the young man is still a little at a loss. On the high platform in the distance, there is a figure, holding a bow and arrow, looking at Matthew with interest. Oh, it can actually block his attack. This shield is quite good. A sword once again appeared in the hand of the man in the shadow. Just as he was about to launch it, he sensed someone behind him and immediately jumped away from the place. The next moment, a purple energy ball flew over and hit the man's feet heavily, causing a violent explosion. Archer, that was you just now. Tosaka Rin's eyes widened. Although he didn't show his face, the familiar attack method and the bohemian voice were obviously him. Red A glanced at her and disappeared. What a fussy woman. In the picture, Mashu left with his seniors, and on the way they met the director who also came here, and they also learned about the situation in Chaldea from Roman. At the same time, I know where this place is, Fuyuki in 2004, and there is a Holy Grail war. The so-called Holy Grail is the magical cauldron regarded as the source of all magic. This is not recorded, it was successful, still failed. At this moment, chains appeared in front of them. The moment Fujimaru Ritsuka was about to touch them, the director stopped him. It's such a pity, we didn't catch it. An extremely tall woman with a sickle in her hand and extremely cold eyes appeared behind them. She is none other than the blackened gun-level Sister. Sister walked up to the petrified second master and stroked his head with a very happy look on her face. The next second, the second master's head was pulled out instantly, and blood spurted out from his neck like a fountain. That scene was so delightful. The second master left quite honorably. Although Mashu fought bravely, she was still no match for Sister R, as she was unable to release the noble phantasm, another Fuyuki city that has not yet been annihilated. Ha! Rider. The second master was obviously frightened. He looked at Sister R next to him and was frightened to death. The shocked Sister R gave him a bunch of chains on the spot and threw him out of the window. Just when Matthew and the others were surrounded by chains, a hot man appeared in front of everyone. Sister R saw the person coming and said in a trembling voice, "Hateful, Caster." Brother Dog drew runes in front of him, forming several fireballs and flying toward Sister R. In an instant, it exploded and covered Sister R with scorching flames. However, the injuries caused were not serious and were easily resolved by Sister R. It is relatively easy for Brother Go to deal with the skill level versus the gun level. With Mashio's cooperation, Sister R soon fell into a trap. There is no need to chant runes at all. Go back and learn it again before you come back. Flames surged from the ground, instantly covering Sister R, and the extremely high temperature burned her. Accompanied by shrill screams, as soon as the flames burned out, several fireballs condensed in front of Brother Dog, flying toward Sister R in an instant. Boom. A shocking explosion sounded, and the flames steamed tens of meters high. Under the high temperature, the ground cracked instantly. Sister R also turned into purple points of light and gradually disappeared in the explosion. Matthew thanked Brother Dog for his help, but when he saw the cute girl, his true nature was revealed instantly. "You have such a nice figure." Afterwards, they learned from Brother Dog that after a fire, all humans in Fuyuki City disappeared, leaving only the servants. Tokiomi, I won't take the blame, that guy Saber took the lead in provoking the Holy Grail War, and then defeated the other servants, and all those she defeated became infected by the black mud like Sister R just now. That I will help you, but Archer must be left to me. The dog guy outside the video looked at him as he was not a gunner, and he was grinning. If you ask a guy who plays with guns to do magic, it's ridiculous. Although I am good at magic, but is it fun to have a gun? It's long and pointy, and it's so fun. In order to prepare for war, Seigo prepared to take measures to allow Mashu to use the noble phantasm. After a series of special training they were also walking towards the heart of the city, when Archer stopped them their way. Naturally, Brother Go stayed to fight against Archer, while the others faced Saber. When they saw Saber, the stupid king outside the video was dumbfounded. King Demao looked at Shiro's dull eyes and panicked. "Shiro, that's definitely not me. I don't have black armor." The Daimao king immediately defended himself. He didn't even finish the food in his mouth immediately. "No matter what you become, Saber, you will still be Saber." Shiro looked at the stupid king beside him tenderly. Facing Saber, the three of them broke out in cold sweat. The dark aura she exuded at this time was extremely shocking. Saber's indifferent eyes glanced at Mashu and said calmly, "Shield. Be prepared, unknown girl. Is your defense indeed impenetrable? Let's confirm it with this sword." The blackened Saber jumped up with the sword in hand, and hit the shield hard. The force of the shock caused huge dust. Every wave can cause violent vibrations. The sparks caused by the collision between the shield and the sword made the space tremble. What's wrong? Not attacking. The powerful force knocked Mashu flying dozens of meters. His body rolled on the ground. The shield in his hand broke away and fell to the ground aside. Fujiwara Ritsuka, who was standing behind, was extremely anxious, but at his wit's end, he didn't know what to do. At this time, the director asked loudly, "You are her master and she is your servant." Mashio, who was covered with bruises, resolutely raised his shield and stood in front of Saber, but in just 1 second, Mashu was knocked away by Saber's sword and flew backwards. Fujiwara Ritsuka turned her head away in distress, not daring to watch this scene. "Don't look away. Look forward. Face it resolutely. What should you do as a master now?"
The director kept shouting. Under the director's words, Fujiwara Ritsuka's eyes became more and more determined. The blackened saber looked at Mash, who kept getting up, frowned, and the magic power in her body began to condense. Dark pink magic power lingered around her body, and the air made waves. I will respond to your fiery eyes. Respond to your heart that is dedicated to protecting the master. Magic power continued to pour into the sword, and the momentum became more and more fierce, and in an instant, it formed a black lightsaber of tens of meters, Excalibur, Morgan. Sword of Victory. Dark red energy instantly fell on Mashu's shield, the ground shook, and accompanied by lightning, the air instantly ignited, and the overflowing energy formed a wind tornado, driving away everything around it. Fujiwara Ritsuka was blown to the ground by this countershock force. Matthew, who was behind the shield, resisted fiercely. Under the tremendous pressure, she gradually couldn't resist and half knelt on the ground. When she was about to give up, a hand pressed on the back of her hand. Matthew suddenly opened his eyes, looked at the person next to him, and showed a gentle smile. Senior, Fujiwara Ritsuka responded to Mashu with a smile. I trust you. The command spell on the back of his hand began to glow red, replenishing the lost magic power in Mashu's body. Mashu stood up and said with firm eyes, Master, please take a look at mine. The outside of the shield gradually emits light, like the stars in the night, twinkling and desirable. The light dispersed quickly, forming a huge wall, blocking all attacks and counterattacking. That shield is. Before Haidai could react, he was hit by his own attack. Mashu was exhausted at this time and fainted briefly. The corner of Haidai's mouth twitched, and he looked at them ferociously, looking at the city wall that was about to disappear, and raised his sword. The sword of contract victory. At this critical moment, that reassuring voice sounded in the air again. My magic is a blazing cage. A green giant like thorns. Karma. Words to purify personnel affairs. After Brother Go finished reciting a spell, a huge puppet giant suddenly appeared on the ground. Haidai didn't react in time and was imprisoned. A pillar of fire suddenly rose into the sky. Haidai took this attack head-on, even she couldn't bear it. After a while, Haidai stood there quietly and murmured, the victory of the guardian power. That's it, very much like that pure and innocent person. Haidai smiled slightly and laughed at himself. In the end, as long as I'm alone, will we always meet the same stranger? What do you mean? What do you know? Sooner or later you will know one day, Ireland's children of light. Grand order. The war surrounding the Holy Grail has just begun. The bodies of the two people turned into points of light and gradually dissipated in the land, and just when Fujiwara Ritsuka and the others thought it was over, something unexpected happened. Chapter 57. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Leaf, who had disappeared, was looking down at them. Bang bang. Gee, I didn't expect you guys to make it this far. It's really beyond the plan, it's also beyond my tolerance. Fujiwara Ritsuka looked at the man with green hair and said in surprise, Who are you? Mashu shouted happily, Professor Leaf. The director was stunned for a few seconds, showed a happy look, and kept murmuring, Rafe, 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 very good, you are still alive. The director ran towards Leaf excitedly, like a child. Without you, behind Leaf's hands, a sly smile appeared on his dark face. Yo Olga, you have worked hard too. Yes. It's all unexpected. Confused me. But, you are here. Everything can be solved. At this time, Olga had not noticed anything wrong, and did not explore what was wrong with what Leaf said before, just the joy of a child seeing his parents. Of course, these are all unexpected situations, which are really irritating. Leaf showed a ferocious expression, his fists behind his back clenched tightly, extremely angry, but he still remained calm and asked, Ramani, I clearly asked you to come to the control room. When Fujimaru and Mashu heard this, their hearts tightened. They knew what happened in the control room. Why would Leaf say such a thing? You too, Olga. I clearly placed the bomb order at your feet. I didn't expect you to be alive. No. I can't say you're still alive. You are already dead, your body is already dead. Leaf finally showed his weird smile, his dark and ferocious eyes, and his cannibalistic face, all of which made people feel chilly. When Olga heard this, she froze on the spot and her eyes gradually lost their luster. Yuri lying, the girl trembled when she heard the words that made her collapse. Even if you return to Chaldea, your consciousness will die, but this would be too pitiful. Let's take a look at Chaldea now. A yellow crystal emerged from the ground, flew to Leaf's hand, and merged into it. In an instant, Chaldea appeared behind him. Humanity protects the celestial sphere. At this time, it is as hot and violent as the sun. Olga couldn't believe what she saw. What is that? Is that a lie? Leaf said with a sinister smile, that this is what I connected time and space for you, that as long as there is the Holy Grail, this can still be done. Leaf opened his palm, and Olga's body flew towards Chaldea unconsciously. What to do? Olga looked ahead in horror, wanting to retreat but unable to resist. This is the treasure you cherish so much, go and touch it. Stop. This is Chaldea's. Leaf smiled ferociously and said excitedly, well, no different than a black hole. Humans will be broken down to the molecular level as soon as they touch it. Just taste the feeling of living but infinite death. When Fujimaru saw this, he was about to rush forward when he was stopped by Mashu. Olga's desperate cry for help came from the air. Don't want, help me, who can help me? Why? Why is it always like this? Don't want, I haven't done anything yet, haven't been praised yet, no. Eventually Olga was devoured and decomposed. A generation of director died here. One Piece world. What a disgusting person. Sengoku punched the table. The anger in his heart burst out. How is this kind of playing with other people's lives different from those pirates who act recklessly and plunder wantonly? Many people from the world felt extremely sick when they saw Leaf. Perhaps the most important thing is that he looks very ugly. Mashu reacted and stood in front of Fujimaru Ritsuka. Leaf saw Mashu's action and praised, as expected of a subservient. You can actually realize that humans and I are completely different species. Competent Master number 48. I let you go because I didn't think highly of you. Why do humans always want to deviate from the established track? Let me reintroduce myself. Leaf bent down, performed a standard Western European salute, and said indifferently, my name is Leaf Lenore Flowerrose. In order to deal with you humans, the person in charge was sent from 2016. Did you hear that, Dr. Roman? Leaf, boss, are you listening? Let me give you my final advice. The future doesn't disappear, it was reduced to ashes. Relying on Chaldea's magnetic field, Chaldea was saved. But I'm afraid the end outside Chaldea is the same as Fuyuki City. The doctor looked solemn, thought of something, and said, it's not a communication failure, it's that there is no one communicating with you anymore. Leaf said gloomily, it's not because you have reached the end of your evolution and declined, nor is it because you are at war with foreigners that you will be destroyed. Because you are incompetent, because you have lost the favor of our king. Romani's pupils were shaking. Damn, when did I stop loving humans? When did I stop loving Gadotsi? Come here and take a good look at me. The boss actually rebelled. The ground began to shake violently, the earth began to collapse, and the world began to end. Leaf looked at the changes here with dissatisfaction. This uniqueness has reached its limit. Damn Saber, I gave her the Holy Grail, but she still wants to maintain this era, which made me waste a lot of effort. So goodbye Romani, Matthew, and candidate number 48. Leaf disappeared in mid-air. The hole keeps collapsing, and I'm afraid it won't be long before it completely collapses. Matthew Senior. The two held their hands tightly together. When they woke up again, they were back in Chaldea. Fujimaru Ritsuka came to the control room and saw Mashu wearing white work clothes, walked over unconsciously. Good morning, Senior. Matthew. Fujimaru Ritsuka hugged Mashu tightly, which made Mashu panic slightly, but he still hugged his senior. Dirty. Fufu turned her head away, saying she had no shame in looking at him. The doctor sitting aside looked at the two of them blankly, looking a little dull. Ignore me. Shouldn't I exist? Such a big living person is here. Ahem. The doctor looked at the two people with a serious face and said solemnly, Competent Master number 48, Fujimaru Ritsuka,
do you and your followers have the consciousness to shoulder the future of mankind together? Fujimaru was stunned for a moment, turned his head and looked helplessly at Mashu aside, and then said with a straight face, "As long as I can do it." When the doctor heard this, he nodded and said to everyone, "Continue the plan of the former director, purpose to protect and regain human history. What we resist more is history itself. Standing in front of you are countless heroic spirits and legends that if you want to live, can only do this. The battle plan is called, Humanity Guardian Designation Grand Order. At this time, the screen flashed by Joan of Arc, Roman Emperor, King Dumao, and Ushawakamaru, waiting for many heroic spirits. Originally I planned to write about the 7 singularities, but forget it and just write about the Warcraft front. After all, there is a drama and everyone knows the plot." Chapter 58. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At this moment, people from all over the world feel a strong sense of history. Unexpectedly, Fujimaru Ritsuka and Mashu became mankind's last hope. Their opponents are legends in history. The strength displayed by the heroic spirits is definitely very powerful. In Fuyuki City, the moment those people saw Fuyuki City being bombed, they felt a sense of déjà vu for some reason. Screen continues. Fujimaru Ritsuka and Mash, the two of them kept traveling through various singularities, but fortunately, they finally recovered the Holy Relic, the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail of the 6 singularities is in Chaldea. Fujimaru and the others are about to go to the 7th singularity. It was a time of destiny when humans and gods parted ways. In the picture, there are lightning and thunder, violent storms, and the ocean is constantly churning, and on the edge of the ocean, on a burnt rock, the half-dressed blonde man, with red tattoos and golden armor, all showed his dignity. At this time, he was holding a woman with long green hair. No, man. The green-haired man's body is gradually collapsing and dissipating, until death. The man's eyes were covered by his golden bangs, and tears rolled down his cheeks in the rain, holding a relic in his hand. The scene turned, and the blond man opened his eyes. His scarlet eyes, lazy expression, and luxurious posture were all clearly revealed. Just sitting there, you can feel the king's breath. This is a true king. One walked to the rooftop, looked at the stars in the sky, and said happily, "Ho, are you able to come, Chaldea?" The king opened his arms and said majestically toward the air, "The only candle that illuminates the stars, if you can, open it. Come to this land where gods and humans live together. The last master of mankind." At this time, Chaldea, Fujimaru, and the others have prepared the spirit transfer. Let's start the actual verification, the 7th singular point. Immediately afterwards, they appeared in the air and were falling rapidly. The two of them were so frightened that they jumped into excitement. The noble phantasm unfolds. Manifest. The ideal city that is already far away. A huge city wall appears on the ground. This is a city of protection. Here they also met a strange girl and a green-haired man who was already dead. Enkidu tells them that the real enemy of mankind is the gods. The gods of many worlds suddenly felt a little pain in their livers when they heard this. Are they going to kill gods again? Can you let them go? From now on, they will be the gods. What a bad luck, to fight against the gods. Humans built something, that they stood on the cliff and looked down. Countless monsters were besieging a huge city. Fujimaru Ritsuka looked at this scene in shock. It was simply a masterpiece. Yes, this is the largest and last fortress guarding the world. The absolute monster front, Babylonia. Countless dark red and cyan monsters are gathering. They are ferocious and brutal, and they are constantly rushing towards the city wall. Countless corpses of monsters, human remains, and blood are mixed and scattered all over the earth. It is simply like a hell on earth. The battle was extremely tragic. The humans under the city wall fought bloody battles, each of them struggling to stop the invasion of the monsters. Even though there was fear on their faces, the thought of their home behind them made them try their best. This group of monsters came with great force, but they never broke through the city wall. Enkidu looked at the humans on the city wall, with imperceptible impatience on his face, and said coldly, "There is no need to kill them all. It's obvious that if you let it go, you'll die." "It's true," that I don't know if he is talking about humans or monsters. Fujimaru and the others followed Enkidu to a dense forest, but Mashu knew that this was not the way to Uruk. At this moment, a long-haired young man holding a staff appeared in front of them. His words were as comforting as the wind blowing on the grassland. Behind him was a purple-haired girl named Anna. Enkidu was also exposed at this moment and took action instantly. Anna, go and help them. The girl glanced at Merlin indifferently, but she still took action, slashing at Enkidu with a sickle, and the ground suddenly exploded. Enki bent down without haste and pressed one hand on the ground. In an instant, golden lightning surged from the ground, tearing the earth apart, and the terrifying power attacked the girl Anna. The girl kept trying to dodge, but was still hit by the stone pillar and flew away. Mashu immediately rushed forward, picked up the shield and smashed it against the frame, but Enkidu was extremely fast and evaded her attack with a slight jump. His fingers concentrated light points and shot towards Mashu. Boom! In an instant, a violent explosion formed. Anna seizes the opportunity and uses the chain to fight Enkidu, and what he is best at playing with is chains. Instead, use chains to deal with me. This is really ridiculous, you third-rate servant. Anna was trapped by chains. Just when Enkidu thought he was sure of victory, he discovered that the people who had been trapped turned into petals and disappeared into the air. Only then did Enkidu react. So that's it. It seems like he fell into a dream during the battle. Leave them alone for now. Mashu, who escaped, was confused and didn't know why he was here. At this time, Merlin stood up, put one hand on his chest, and said proudly, that I saved you in a critical moment. I hope you can send me overwhelming words of gratitude. At this time, when Fufu saw Merlin, the whole beast was quite bad. She flew straight towards him and slapped his face with her claws. Merlin deserves to die. You hateful beast. Have you forgotten my kindness in taking care of you all these years? At the same time, the Chaldean doctor learned Merlin's real name and sat up in shock. Merlin smiled and said, Hey, he's just an ordinary magician with the qualifications for a title. At this time, the doctor unconsciously talked too much. Magicians with title qualifications all have clairvoyance. For example, King Solomon IX has eyes that can see through the past and the future. And Gilgamesh has eyes that can see into the future. Just convenience, that's all. Only then did the doctor realize that he had been seen through by Merlin, and he instantly shut down. At this time, Da Vinci looked at him speechlessly, while Merlin smiled, as if to say, if you can speak, just speak more, they will never interrupt. In the end, they followed Merlin to Uruk, the oldest fortress city in human history. Chapter 59. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Here, they met King Gilgamesh, the legendary ancient and cruel king. But the reality is completely different. The king is simply a model worker. First they have to break the alliance of the three goddesses. And they have already met Ishtar, the goddess of Venus. Fuyuki City, looking at the goddess of Venus who was going crazy, Red A couldn't help but cover her head and sighed secretly. This woman finally went crazy. Tosaka Rin on the side looked at Red A with a resentful look on his face and complained, What are you doing? That's not me, They finally met the mother goddess of Warcraft. In order to help Fujimaru Ritsuka and others escape, Ashiwakamaru personally stayed behind. Ashiwakamaru looked at her huge body and mocked, Your huge body is a hindrance. The mother goddess of Warcraft looked at Ashiwakamaru ferociously. The huge snake head behind him kept spraying purple light waves, the air shook, everything around him was being destroyed, and the earth ignited with raging fire. The wandering story of King Zana second scene. Bolu Tianren shrinks back. Ashiwakamaru quickly shuttled around the mother goddess. The sharp sword in his hand burst out with a dazzling red light, turning into energy and stabbing her. Watch me pierce your eyes. But the next second, the ground cracked, as if something was coming out of it. Immediately afterwards, the mother goddess of Warcraft appeared in front of Fujimaru Ritsuka and others. The 12 long-haired snake heads released terrifying energy wantonly from their mouths, and the city wall was destroyed in an instant. Ashiwakamaru. Ashiwakamaru was being held in the snake's head, and the sharp teeth penetrated her body, dripping with blood. Then she was thrown down by the mother goddess, and fell to the ground with bruises all over her body.
The mother goddess of Warcraft looked indifferently at the humans below and said coldly, that I'm going to kill all you humans, even if there is only one left in the end, kill them all too. There is a huge gap in strength, even heroic spirits appear fragile in front of the gods, and fear envelopes their hearts for a moment. Pirate world, the holy land of Mariajoya, the residence of the celestial dragons, there are already many senior naval officials guarding this place to prevent the Tianlong people from being killed. At this time, the Tianlong people are no longer what they used to be. Voices against the Tianlong people are rising all over the world. Yes, kill them, kill these humans for daring to resist God. The Tianlong people roared and cried, but no one paid attention to them. The world of One Punch Man. Saitama is living a very nourishing life now, and has endless snacks every day. The only thing that can arouse his interest now is whether a strong person can appear on the light screen. Teacher, this mother goddess of Warcraft is so powerful. Geno said in shock. Saitama pressed his nose, but there was no fluctuation. In the picture, just when everyone thought they were about to cool off, the iron door behind them was opened, and a macho aura came out. It was Leonidas and his soldiers. The sacrifice of Lord Ushawakamaru, sacrifice of soldiers, it will never be in vain. Leave it to me without asking any questions. The 300 warriors behind Leonidas stood firm, their eyes full of determination and high morale. Even in the face of gods, they would move forward bravely and fearlessly. These are the Spartans. Come and get it if you can. With a roar that shook the sky, the soldiers bent down, raised their shields above their heads, and were ready to throw long hair. What's the use of mere soldiers? The mother goddess of Warcraft was quite disdainful. It was just an ordinary spear, it didn't hurt or itch. Come on, friends. Guardian of the Flame Gate dash, the shield gradually turns red, forming a solid fortress tens of meters high. Turn me into stone. The demonic eye of the mother goddess of Warcraft was activated, shooting out several dark red rays of light, which landed heavily on the red shield. However, the next moment, the attacks launched by the magic eye were all deflected. How can it be? He actually took out my magic eye. Who are you? The mother goddess of Warcraft looked at Leonidas ferociously, but she didn't expect that her powerful magic eye would be blocked. My ancestor is the great hero Hercules. That is, the son of the great god Zeus. A kingdom once blessed by Ares, the god of war. I am the king of Sparta. Leonidas. His helmet gradually shattered, revealing his true face, his resolute face and extremely determined eyes. I've seen through your true identity, Avenger. I've never heard of Tiamat having the eye. And there is no need to mention the evil-eyed snake god who can turn people into stone statues. The attack of the evil eye gradually eroded the red shield until the last one shattered. Leonidas raised his shield in front of him. The powerful force shocked him so much that he was covered in blood, and his body was constantly petrified. Call out. He threw the spear, turned into a meteor, and pierced the snake god's abdomen in the blink of an eye. Ah! The snake god screamed, and a large amount of purple blood gushed out from his abdomen, gushing out like a spring and spreading all over the earth. The goddess destroyed as a monster, Gorgon. Gorgon lowered his head and looked gloomily at the man who had seen through his true identity, and said angrily, Then let you die as a brave man. Leonidas looked at himself who was about to be petrified, chuckled, closed his eyes, and said calmly, My soul is as immortal as this earth. I'll leave it to you next. Fujiwara Ritsuka looked at Leonidas leaving and clenched his fists. Gorgon mocked Leonidas as he left, and said with a ferocious smile, The human world is about to end, and as the strongest guardian, you are dying here in vain. And the next moment, a figure stood up from the ground with difficulty and picked up the petrified sword. Lose your life in vain? I see. It seems like you don't understand the battlefield at all, Gorgon. Ushawakamaru bent down and looked up at the huge Gorgon, his eyes filled with mockery. On the Gojo Bridge in Kyoto, the great Han Benkei wields his sword. We are heroic spirits. It's a shadow that exists in human history. Our existence is the continuation of human history. Thousands of years later, there will still be children who admire me, Ushawakamaru. This alone allows me to continue fighting. Ashiwakamaru waved his noble phantasm, sparks flashed, and the petrified earth in front of him was opened like paper. Her long hair was fluttering, her eyes were particularly determined, she put one hand on the ground and shouted, "The wandering story of King Zana, the fourth scene. Dan no Europe 8 ships jump. 7 identical people instantly appeared around her, turning into streams of light and rushing towards Gorgon. The snake heads attacked Ashiwakamaru like running water, but now she was faster, stronger, and the blade was sharper. Several snake heads were cut into pieces, the angry Gorgon began to attack indiscriminately. In the blink of an eye, the 7 clones were devoured. Ashiwakamaru's whole body was ignited with raging fire, and he looked down upon death and fell from the sky. Ah! The flames covered the noble phantasm, constantly gnawing at the Gorgon's body. Until you reach the Gorgon. At this time, Ashiwakamaru was like a cartoon, turning into black and white lines, with determination and a trace of reluctance in his eyes. By now, Mr. Fujimaru. Boom! A shocking explosion swept across the earth, and a huge pit was blown out of the ground. The horror contained in it can be felt even thousands of meters away. The Gorgon who was hit directly by the noble phantasm was definitely not much better. However, the smoke cleared, and Gorgon appeared in front of everyone unscathed. Her eyes were filled with indifference and a mockery of mortals falling against gods. A heavy haze could not help but arise in the hearts of everyone. Chapter 60. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Fuyuki Church, Kotomine Kirai stood quietly aside, his previously calm eyes now full of horror. So does Wang's past have this history? But it doesn't seem to be recorded. What's going on? Within Chaldea, the staff looked at this scene and were dumbfounded. Is this Gorgon so strong? Even powerful heroic spirits like Leonidas and Ashiwakamaru never really heard it. What should they do in the face of such a crisis? Is this an enemy they can defeat? The doctor's expression also changed slightly. He quickly scanned the crowd and found that no one was looking at him. I couldn't help but feel a lot more at ease in my heart. I had made a lot of mistakes before. He is just short of having King Solomon written on his face. In the scene, Jin-gu appears in time and persuades Gorgon to go away. Gilgamesh was preparing to recruit the goddess to join the human camp. The first thing that came to mind was the goddess of Venus Ishtar. They came to Ishtar's temple and met the goddess of Venus. Even though they tried to persuade her, they could not change her mind. Until Fujimaru Ritsuka threw a lot of gems in front of her. This goddess is completely stunned, gave up thinking, finally got bribed. Even the goddess is no exception. Outside the video, Tosaka Rin's eyes turned green when he saw so many gems. Losing his mind, he threw himself on the light screen. Rede was silent on the side. The woman went crazy again. After Ishtar joined them, the sun goddess also appeared in front of everyone. In order to prevent her from killing humans, Fujimaru Ritsuka and others went to stop her, and Fujimaru's courage as a human finally captured the heart of the sun goddess. So the two goddesses stood in the human camp. At the same time, Gilgamesh fell asleep on the throne due to long hours of work. When he opened his eyes again, he appeared in the underworld. In order to save this king, Fujimaru Ritsuka and others went to the underworld. Here they met Ereshkigal, the goddess of the underworld. But the goddess is not the real person. Under the words of Fujimaru Ritsuka, the goddess recovered her true form. She has the same appearance as Ishtar, but she has blonde hair, ruby-like eyes, and is wearing a red velvet. She looks gorgeous and indestructible. In the end, this goddess who loves humans deeply also joined humans. In order to save people, they came to Gorgon. Saint Seiya world. The myths there seem to be very similar to those here. Seiya murmured, they defeated Pluto, Neptune, Apollo and other gods. They have a completely different power system than here, but we can understand many things from it. Seiya, what's wrong? Athena looked at the absent-minded Shinya and asked. Shinya shook his head and looked tenderly at Athena who was holding Guanya in his arms. It's okay, Miss Saori. Anna's magic eye, which was the same as Gorgon's, caused great fluctuations in her heart, and she covered her face with a headache. But when this happens, Anna can't do anything to Gorgon, but is quickly defeated. Gorgon roared ferociously, I am Tiamat, the goddess of origin.
Anna raised her head, with blood streaming from the corner of her mouth, and responded weakly, "No. The female monster of the invisible island, hero killer, this is your Gorgon, that there's no way you can escape that island." Gorgon opened her eyes wide, and a scene that stirred her heart was reflected in her pupils. At that time, she became a monster and ate her two sisters alive. Gorgon trembled all over when he thought of this, and did not notice that he had let go of Anna until her scythe swung towards his chest. In an instant, numerous cracks appeared on Gorgon's body, glowing with light. By now, another me. Anna and Gorgon disappeared into the air. At this time, the doctor sent urgent news that the singularity had not disappeared at all. No one has reacted yet. On the ocean in the distance, the originally vast ocean was now covered with a layer of scarlet, and all creatures wherever it went were dead. It has turned into a sea of death. When Merlin was also plotted and was about to disappear, he told Fujiwara Ritsuka, "Tell it to King Gilgamesh." Originally, only the 7 knights of the crown rank could fight against it, the beast of inhibition that devours human reason, the source of life, mother of origins, one of the 7 human evils, the beast of original sin, already woke up. In the end, Merlin turned into a point of light and disappeared in front of everyone. And there is a figure several thousand meters high on the Scarlet Sea. She has long blue hair, purple eyes, and a beautiful face, and this is only half of her body. No one knows how tall she is. Damn it, isn't this the woman from the beginning? It turns out to be her. But this is too huge. But he looks so good. You can shut up. This is to save humanity, not the time for you to discuss appearance so superficially. More people are extremely nervous. Can they stop this dense monster? Is this the power of the world-destroying god? This is the real annihilation of mankind. Everyone returned to Uruk and saw that the people were being massacred by Lakhem. There were desperate shouts, severed limbs, screams, and flames everywhere, filling the entire Uruk. Fujiwara, who returned to the palace, reported to Gilgamesh what Merlin had said. Fujiwara Ritsuka never knew what human evil was and asked, "What is human evil?" There are some differences between the ancient kings, and they don't even know it yet. Human evil literally means human stain, which refers to various disasters that destroy human beings. Human beings are also developing, and they will become stronger and stronger, like a cancer eating away from the inside of society. But you have to remember, human evil is not the evil that destroys mankind, it is the evil that mankind wants to destroy. Tiamat is one of the 7 deadly evils. Now they have to face the creator god of this primitive world. Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ordinary gods in the world lay numbly on the throne. There is only one thought in my mind: don't bother me, I'm just a salted fish god, I won't destroy mankind, don't bother me. Whoever says in the future that I want to become a god, I welcome you with both hands. Come, take your seat, be cautious and brave in the world. The goddess Listita is now so panicked that she no longer dares to call herself a goddess in front of others. Holy shit, do you think they will kill me? Shunyong looked at her with disgust. She is so weak that even I can't beat her. When did you get the illusion that you are strong? Good blessings to the world. Kazuma, something bad has happened. Someone from my Axis cult wants to kill me. Aqua was so dumbfounded that she wiped Kazuma's body with snot and tears. So dirty. It's a good thing that the bad religion is gone. Kazuma helplessly rubbed Aqua's round face. I am afraid that from now on, the reincarnated being summoned by God may not ask about the golden finger. Maybe he said, "God, can I kill you?" The gods cursed and exited the world stage. Some gods shouted, "Come on, Mom, kill them and end everything for mankind." In the picture, Ramu is wreaking havoc everywhere, and Fujiwara Ritsuka has no choice but to go out of the city to fight. Here they met Sigili, who had become Ramu. She didn't take action, leave alone quietly. At this time, Jingu appeared, looked at this group of new humans, and angrily shouted, "What do you want to do by bringing the old humans together?" However, Ramu gave Jingu a heartfelt message and sneered, "Ha, Jingu, you are really boring." Blood gushed out from his chest. Jingu looked at them in disbelief. He still doesn't understand why. Isn't he Tiamat's son? that the Holy Grail and the Golden Solid was forcibly pulled out by Ramu. The seriously injured Jingu staggered and flew far away until he was chased into the forest, with Ramu chasing after him, that he staggered and fell against a nearby tree, eyes lowered, as if he had resigned himself to his fate. The Ramu approached Jingu, raised their tentacles, and stabbed him, poof. Jingu, no. Enkidu opened his eyes and stared blankly ahead. One Rakumu actually killed two other Rakumu. Are you crazy? The only one left stabbed towards the betrayed Ramu. Puff. Rakumu, who had rescued Enkidu, came to Enkidu tremblingly. Kindness, Enkidu. Who are you? Thank you. Why save me? This strange Ramu raised his hand tremblingly, gently placed it on his head, caressed his cheek, and said thanks. Wish you get happiness. My dear friend, Enkidu. It's you. Put life and path to the aloof king. In the picture, Enkidu is still alive. Gilgamesh, Siduri, and many people are getting along happily. Siduri stroked Enkidu's head and comforted. Everybody laments your death. Everyone, I have never forgotten your death. I also, same, so, wish you happiness. Sigili's body gradually collapsed and turned into black smoke. Even though she turned into a monster, she still maintained a kind heart. Enkidu. Beautiful, green man. Very good. I can also say thank you. That's great. Thank you. Enkidu stretched out his hand with blank eyes, wanting to hug Siduri, but she eventually turned into black smoke and disappeared into the world. Genes shining in various time periods looked at all this indifferently. It is impossible for this hero king to shed tears, but the destroyed buildings around him can tell how furious this hero king is in his heart. He had clairvoyance and had long known that Sigili would become like this, but he did not interfere. Fujimaru Ritsuka and the others returned to the palace again to discuss how to deal with Tiamat. Because it has no knowledge of death, no matter what happens on the ground, it will never die. Therefore, they plan to drive Tiamat into the underworld. But it will take 3 days, and Tiamat is getting closer and closer to Uruk. When everyone was discussing how to stop Tiamat, Gilgamesh laughed loudly and crossed his arms. Aha, I have already seen the path to victory. Ishtar looked at him helplessly and said speechlessly, So, there is no way to hold her back. Gilgamesh pointed his finger at her and said with a smile, The solution is you. Ishtar. The scene suddenly fell silent, especially Ishtar, who was a little confused. You guy actually knows how to use your trump card. It's so hateful. King Gilgamesh raised his hand and rubbed Ishtar's head violently. Fujimaru. However, Fujimaru's eyes lit up and he said excitedly, It's Gujialana. Ishtar's eyes suddenly shrank and he stayed where he was. Serve the goddess Ishtar, the greatest mythical beast in Sumer. Bull of heaven. Gujalana. Use that to hold Tiamat back. I heard that Gugalana could even suck the Tigris River dry. It's so easy to win. As expected of Miss Ishtar, everyone was firing like crazy, as if they had a chance to win, but the goddess herself looked embarrassed and didn't know what to say. What's wrong? If it were a normal you would have burst out laughing. King Gilgamesh looked at her and there was something slightly wrong. There is none left. Ishtar turned her head to one side, not daring to look at everyone's faces. What did you say? Gugalana is gone. The air suddenly became quiet, except for the leopard. There is none left, lost. As a goddess, I am almost crying. King Gilgamesh looked at Ishtar angrily and roared, You stupid goddess. The game that was a sure win was beaten to a pulp by you. The king sighed helplessly, walked out of the palace, looked at everyone, and said, Okay, let's disband. Enjoy the time between tonight and tomorrow morning, however short it is. Everyone was enjoying this short night. Until morning comes, the sun shines on everyone's face. The king of Mesopotamia, the king of Uruk, stood in front of the people and said loudly, Announcement to all citizens staying in Uruk. Half a year ago, the Warcraft Front was established. At that time, I said that no matter how hard we struggled, Uruk would perish. You can run away, indulge in pleasure, or lament your fate and throw yourself into the underworld. Everyone knew the outcome, but still rose up to resist. There is no doubt that Uruk is a happy city. Including its history, life, people, including this king. I will say it again. Uruk is destroyed. This is an unchangeable fact. But there is no need for you to be sad. To talk about the reason, as long as there is still one person who can usher in the dawn of victory. Our appearance will be engraved in his heart. Even if you die in the end, even if you leave no descendants. People will also leave their will in the hearts of others. This is not a blood relationship, but an intellectual inheritance, a bond of life. The destruction of Uruk does not mean that we will be destroyed. We will deny the God of origin at this moment and start a new era of mankind. This is the real farewell battle with the gods. Dedicate your lives to this king. In order to convey the glory of our Uruk to future generations. They will definitely win this battle. Uruk lives here forever. With only 500 peoples left, even if they are gods, they will bleed to the last drop of blood.